Hello, my friends. I'm Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. Today we're going to do a reading, and since I'm outside and dressed like this, it's pretty springy today, and so I got spring on the mind. I got that spring fever going on here. And so I was thinking, especially because it is the month of spring, the start of it at least, and even though it's not technically spring yet, I mean, kind of is. But anywho, I thought it would be okay. So I thought it would be fun to explore what blessings, or maybe no, let's just do what's new. What's going to be new in the springtime for you, the collective? Yeah. Please, thank you, Spirit. What is going to be new for the collective in the spring, when the spring comes officially? Please and thank you, Spirit. What's coming to the collective in the spring? Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else? Please and thank you. I am glad to be outside, and I'm also glad that there is snow on the ground because it's enough of a deterrent that I'm not going to have background noise every 3 seconds. So that's a good one. Anything else, please and thank you. Something new coming in the springtime for the collective? Okay, let's just take the one that flipped. Okay. That's enough, I think. I'm going to try and make this a quickie, but if it's not, I'm not going to stress it too much. Okay, so the first card that came out is the Ace of Wands. I also forgot my tripod, which is the most frustrating thing when it comes to recording these outside. Is like once you forget it, it's like I really don't want to turn around and have to go all the way back just to get my tripod. So I set you up on a precarious sort of situation. Y'all don't have to know about it. But anywho, if I'm at a weird angle or if there's like something in the periphery. But yeah, so if you see anything in the periphery, it's just my phone being set up in a weird way. But I promise in the future I will bring my tripod because now I've learned my lesson, for this season at least. Wait until next season, I'll probably forget it again. Anywho, the second card that came out was the Knight of Cups in the reverse. I find that very interesting. I definitely want to explore deeper into that one. And then the Page of Swords. This feels like somebody has been watching you. Maybe in the springtime they're going to make their presence known to you. Then bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. So that's a very positive sign there for sure. Okay, let's start by clarifying that Ace of Wands. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this Ace of Wands indicating for the new coming in the spring? Because I feel like the spring is really the epitome of new, right? We're ready for some new energies to come in. What's new energies? What new things coming in for the collective in the springtime? Thank you. Oh, how interesting. Okay. Clarifying that Ace of Wands, we have the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Sorry, I'm just paranoid. I wanted to make sure I'm still recording. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. The Judgment card. Eight of Cups. Bottom of the deck. King of Cups. I'm feeling this might be connected to this Knight of Cups in the reverse. Why do I feel like you're going to be rejecting somebody because there's somebody else who's maybe catching? So, yeah, it connected to the Knight of Cups for me. It feels like maybe you're detaching from an ex or somebody that maybe was leading you on. Because I see there's this Ace of Wands upright that we're clarifying. I feel like that could definitely be a renewed sense of enthusiasm, passion, creativity, or something just sparking joy within you and inspiring you in that way. And then the Ace of Pentacles being in the reverse, it feels like there was a potential for a new beginning, but it didn't happen. You had the opportunity to invest into something, or you will have, maybe because this is probably future tense, um, depending on where you are at the timeline. I'm sure, multiple people are probably in different areas of the timeline. But Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, it's like there is an opportunity or an offer for a new investment opportunity. Start investing into something or someone potentially, and that was shut down, or it just simply never came through. Ooh, okay, now I'm seeing it. So it feels like it could be a few different things. So this could be indicating that you wanted somebody to offer you this opportunity to invest into something. Definitely could be a relationship or something like that, to start building with someone. And this could have been somebody that breadcrumbed you, led you on, made you think that that was a possibility, even if it wasn't on their end. And that would make sense why the Judgment card shows up after that Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, because the Judgment card can sometimes be a card referring to somebody from the past trying to come back in order to get a more favorable outcome than what happened before. But it almost makes me upset, because if this person didn't offer you something before, why are they coming back around now? It almost feels like if that Ace of Wands, I'll have to wait for this person to pass being loud on their motorcycle. How dare you? Don't you know I'm recording in nature? You're totally messing up the vibes. Bad vibes. No, I'm kidding. Um, but yeah, I will wait. I'll wait. Like a fucking teacher. That's okay. I'll wait. You done? Anywho. But it feels like, and this is the part I don't like, is that if you all of a sudden are excited, you may have a new opportunity on the horizon for yourself. Maybe a new person has entered your life. Or maybe you're just inspired to do projects, explore ideas, create things. But regardless, your energy feels really high vibrational, and there's a sense of enthusiasm or excitement or optimism behind that. And I think that somebody from your past is probably attracted to that light that you're giving off right now, or the light you'll be giving off when spring comes. They're like attracted to that, and they want to come back and try and smooth things over, is what it feels like. But the funny thing is, after that Judgment card is the Eight of Cups. So if you left this person behind before, you're going to do it again. You will. I mean, I feel like you kind of, what this person's about at this point. I feel like you've already, honestly, this could be something that you already healed from and moved on from. And so this person's holding on to these feelings because they're probably thinking, oh, what could have been? Wow. But you're just like, okay, I'm on to bigger and better things now because I've learned my lesson. It almost feels like you see this person as a lesson rather than a potential partner. So if they're trying to come in and, be all like, ooh, I love you, ooh, I'll do anything. You're just going to be like, nah, bye. That's what you're doing. You're choosing yourself first and foremost, and your own happiness and well-being. And I find that to be a beautiful thing to do, especially when it comes to crusty dusties from our past. But yeah, you're choosing yourself, and I'm very proud of you. And it's a very attractive thing too when somebody prioritizes their own health and happiness over, people pleasing. It almost even feels like you have other plans with your life, even if it's not romantic. It feels like, nah, I'm good. I got my hands full with other stuff right now. You may just simply be too busy even to deal with this person, especially if they're one of those breadcrumbers that is very on and off, in and out. The King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I feel like this is the person that has caught your eye. And they're probably much more mature than the person of the past was. And they're emotionally available, emotionally vulnerable, mature with their emotions. They know how to process them, they know how to feel them without taking them out on other people, self aware. So you may already have this romance kind of cooking in the background when this other person decides to come towards you. Let's see what's underneath that King of Cups. Queen of Swords. Ooh, I actually kind of like that match. So you're showing up as the Queen of Swords. This person's showing up as the King of Cups. Your new person, not your past person. I actually really like this kind of connection because you're showing up as the brains of the operation. This person's showing up as the heart of the operation. Okay, that sounds very confusing because I'm using the word operation, but I mean like the two of you being a team. You're the brains, they're the heart. And I feel like that can definitely be a really good balance that kind of it definitely feels like one of you may be more cerebral, um, logical, maybe rather serious or at least determined and focused on the things that matter to you. And then the other person is, really in touch with their feelings, not afraid to feel things, not afraid to maybe encourage you to feel your feelings. If you're somebody that's like, these are too inconvenient, or you notice that it builds up to the point, or you notice that it builds up to the point of, or you notice that it builds up to the point of maybe your feelings overflowing. You may accidentally project onto somebody else or take it out on the wrong person. And maybe this is the person that will help kind of bring you into a more grounded energy when it comes to your feelings and your heart space. It definitely feels like the two of you will be very compatible in the way that it's like it's not that you're complete opposites though, because the Queen of Swords, even though she looks very, scary, she has feelings. She's not unfair. She believes in justice. She believes in balance. Um, it feels like the two of you are really authentic. You could be somebody that really speaks their mind, and I feel like this person really admires that because the King of Cups may be slightly shy, depending on the personality, of course, and the person you're dealing with. But I feel like because the King of Cups has such a big heart, they probably would try to like err more so on the side of, I want to make sure that I'm not hurting anyone's feelings and stuff like that. Whereas you may be like, I can just say the truth. I don't have a problem with hurting people's feelings. And not to say that you enjoy that, but rather you just understand that sometimes feelings get hurt, but at least you're telling the truth, right? But I feel like this is good because it's like you both balance each other out with your qualities. And it feels compatible, and like the two of you would actually work really well as a team. I want to see what's underneath that Queen of Swords now. Ace of Wands, which we're clarifying. So perfect. Yes, you are excited about this new connection, as I was saying. And, the Ace of Wands can also just be like, as I was saying, like creativity, passion, and stuff that's unrelated to romance. But with the context, it definitely feels like you're excited about the potential for this new opportunity. Maybe the two of you are going to create something together. Maybe you're both very creative people. King of Cups definitely would be. I feel like the Queen of Swords would also be too, because so cerebral and like in their mind and stuff. I feel like you probably have a lot of good ideas. And so does the King of Cups probably. But yeah, it feels like you're excited, and maybe it's about this connection. It could also just be about other things, but you're definitely feeling good. You feel excited. You feel like, okay, things are maybe shifting around for you. Things are changing perhaps, especially if you haven't really had any luck in love for a while. This could be like, okay, this is kind of a cute message I'm getting. It feels like defrosting, which is perfect for this time of year where we're defrosting here in New England. But yeah, it almost feels like if you've been waiting for somebody to, well, I'm not going to say like, oh, you've been like a damsel in distress, like up away in a tower waiting for your Prince Charming to come. I'm not saying that, but rather like you've been open to love if it shows itself, but you haven't met anybody that really sparked that in some time, for some time, probably. Um, and it feels like here comes this new energy and you're feeling revitalized. You're feeling like excited for life again, excited to be romantic. And maybe you were somebody that, especially if you had crummy past exes and stuff like that, you could have been like, oh, I'm never gonna trust anyone ever again, I'm never gonna love again, or I'm never gonna explore that again. But you may have reached the point in your own healing where you actually are ready for that new chapter to open up. So it feels exciting. Okay, let's explore this Knight of Cups in the reverse. I'm very curious about that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this Knight of Cups in the reverse trying to tell us about the new things coming in for the collective in the spring? What new things are coming in relation to this Knight of Cups here? What is this Knight of Cups doing here? What is this Knight of Cups doing here? Oh no. Oh no, I think I know what this Knight of Cups is doing here. Up to no good. Knight of Cups in the reverse specifically, but I think we understand that. So, Knight of Cups in the reverse, clarified by the Two of Swords coming out like that. And then we have Page of Wands, Three of Wands, Queen of Swords, King of Cups. And then the Chariot, Queen of Cups, King of Wands. Bottom of the deck is Ace of Wands. So, oh, maybe this Knight of Cups in the reverse is somebody outside of your new connection wants to maybe sabotage this new connection. Feels like it could definitely be this King of Wands here, and maybe they see you as the Queen of Cups, which is funny because that would make you even more compatible with that King of Cups that you already have. Oh, and then with that Knight of Cups in the reverse, it could also be, I think this is a manipulated person. Gross. Because it feels almost like they know that you may be like a hopeless romantic, very romantic, maybe very loving, very kind, giving. And I feel like this person is assuming you would want somebody to come towards them romantically, or you would want somebody to come towards you romantically rather than maybe spicily. And maybe this person's energy from the past was spicy, like only one tone of spicy. And that makes me think that if they come in, what this Knight of Cups energy in the reverse could be signifying here is like they could be trying to fake. They could be trying to fake feelings for you, or like really play this up. Like, oh, I'm so brokenhearted. I've been so brokenhearted over you. You know, please take me back, or please forgive me, or please give me a chance. But the thing is, if you're showing up as the Queen of Swords / Queen of Cups, your intuition is spot on. And I think maybe that's why it came out in the reverse, is because this person may think that they have you fooled. They may even be playing on your feelings. How do I word that? Trying to manipulate your feelings, trying to use your sensitivity, kindness, love against you in some way, or more accurately, towards their own favor. They want to manipulate the situation to get the most favorable outcome. But the thing is, they're going to come in and they're going to try and be the Knight of Cups upright. But I feel like because you're probably hella intuitive, maybe even psychic, and so you're going to be like, no, this person's not authentic. This person's hiding something. This person's not who they appear to be or who they're trying to project themselves to be to the world or to you. I feel like you could call this person out because, or you just at the very least, you clock it with your intuition and you're just like, you just either ignore them, avoid them, or whatever. You may not even care enough to entertain this person at all or even listen to them if they have something that they want to say to you. And it's even more interesting when you see this because King of Cups in the middle, Queen of Swords here, Queen of Cups here. Both of these people are facing towards the direction of the King of Cups in the center. And I feel like these are your energy. So it feels like all of your attention is on this new person. But that doesn't mean that that is going to stop this King of Wands from trying to come towards you with the Chariot there. They could even feel, well, I don't know if they're convincing themselves of this delusion, that maybe they think you're their soulmate, their destiny. And that could be why they're moving towards you very enthusiastically. But again, you're going to be able to clock this because something's not adding up. Also, I guess with the Two of Swords coming out like that, that could indicate that you have a decision to make between two paths, maybe these two offers, and you could be very stuck in your head, unsure about the decision that you're going to be making. But I'm going to be real with you. When it first came out, it felt more so like this King of Wands energy. If they're showing up in that Knight of Cups energy in the reverse, it almost feels like maybe a reason why you don't trust this person is because you gave them an opportunity to choose you already in the past. And maybe this person either couldn't make up their mind, they refused to make a solid decision. This person could definitely be wishy-washy, like just in general, like just in their life in general. So maybe they're kind of just a headache anyways. You might have definitely dodged a bullet with this one because it almost feels like you know what this person's about. You know that this person, it almost even feels like this is not a person of integrity. I don't know why I'm getting that. Oh, maybe you've seen this person manipulate other people. And so you're like, do you think I'm dumb? Like, and if they are the King of Wands, though, unfortunately, the shadow side of the King of Wands, because the King of Wands upright typically is such a nice energy, but with the context of this reading, it feels like they're going to be showing up in their more shadowy energy. And the shadowy King of Wands is very arrogant. They think that they know everything. They think that they are way more charming than they actually are. There could even be like a lack of social cues that this person picks up on, and not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It may just create awkward situations. And this is somebody that feels like, honestly, there's a little bit of a narcissistic energy underneath the shadow King of Wands, of like being very self-centered, only going after the things that serve that person, specifically this person, and not really caring about anyone else. Or, not caring about their impact of the choices that they make and the impact that that would make on other people. Yeah, this feels like kind of like a selfish energy because it feels like they are coming towards you simply because They feel like you're moving on. So they definitely could try to pull at your heartstrings with the whole like, oh, you're my soulmate, we belong together. I'm just gonna make sure I'm still recording. Good, good, good. Or that my mic's still on. But also after that Two of Swords coming out the way it did, we have the Page of Wands and the Three of Wands. I'm gonna say this Page of Wands probably is this King of Wands. And they're being very immature. Or they just are immature. Their whole personality might just be incredibly underdeveloped. They haven't really matured into an adult. So maybe they even still have the mindset of like a teenager, is what I feel. Like, I don't think that this is somebody that is that young, obviously. But it feels like man child is the phrase I'm getting, but it doesn't even have to be a man. It could be anyone. Somebody that is just very immature and they really don't have a good excuse for it. But they're very see, it feels almost delusional. I think they have a way better chance with you than they actually do. Oh, that's so embarrassing for them because it's like, oh, that's so awkward for somebody to assume that they have a better chance with you than they actually do, or that they're more appealing to you than they actually are, or they're not as convincing as they think they are. Oh my gosh. I'm I'm feeling like secondhand embarrassment from this person, I'm not gonna lie. Because they feel like it could even be a very impossible situation to come back from, depending on what the two of you went through together, you and this King of Wands, if you even had a past at all. But they're showing up with this enthusiastic, youthful energy. And then look at this Three of Wands. That looks like a watching energy, waiting, watching. Watching maybe you come into union with this King of Cups. And this person is just waiting, watching, waiting for the right time, waiting for the right moment to come in and disrupt this, is what it feels like. I'm not going to lie, this King of Wands may be a little bit hyper fixated on you. And that's part of the reason why maybe they can't stop thinking about you. Also, with the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck, that can sometimes be a spicy sort of energy. It could even be alluding to that this King of Wands, all they want really is just a spicy interaction with you. But they're going to try and manipulate you, is what I feel. They're going to try and act like that's not what they want and they actually want something deeper, but they may not be emotionally vulnerable, emotionally available. Maybe they're not even really available too, because they could always lie and say that they're single when they're not. So like, I would just be careful about people coming back from your past, or people that breadcrumbed you in the past or led you on in the past, trying to come in, especially with you moving on. That shows that they are karmic rather than the person you're actually meant to be with. Because if somebody truly loves you, like true love, you can allow. I forgot what I was saying. I'm so sorry, but that motorcycle really distracted me. Um, hmm. Oh yeah, but this person may just want spiciness, but they're going to try and come in with the emotions because they think that that will give them the best outcome. If they show up in a more emotional energy, ooh. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, this is just what's coming through. Is like, I get the secondhand embarrassment though. This King of Wands could literally. This is honestly like a little bit psychotic. Because I'm getting the energy of like, this person may try to manipulate you through tears. Like they may show up and give you a sob story or give you that like, oh, I've always thought of you. You never left my mind. I think I love you. And it's like, and then they're just like at the same time maybe. But I almost feel like it would be incredibly intentional with this person. This person could have been an actor in the past or a theater kid or something like that, because like, can they just like make themselves cry on demand like that? Interesting. But that could also be something that's hinting in your intuition, like triggering your intuition to be like, this is weird. Or like, I don't know if I trust this person. They seem a little unstable. Or you just feel like this person's hiding something. I don't trust this person. Definitely trust your intuition, because more than likely it is correct. But yeah, it's like this person's watching and waiting for the right time to step in and try and swoop you up. But the thing is, you're not interested in this person at all. And I feel like they're headed towards a rude awakening when they come towards you, because especially if you're showing up as the Queen of Swords, even if you do have that Queen of Cups in you, if you're like displaying the Queen of Swords is not gonna beat around the bush. Let's just say that. Queen of Swords gonna tell this person like it is, They're gonna tell it like it is with this King of Wands. And I think this King of Wands, especially because I think they either overestimate their own charm and charisma, their riz, dare I say, and or maybe they just think that you're a sucker for them, and if they just say the right things, look at you this specific way, cry on demand, then you're going to be putty in their hands. But the thing is, I think you've healed too much to do that. And the thing is too, if you got a King of Cups, that feels emotionally fulfilling. So it's almost like, ooh, maybe it's because you're entertaining a King of Cups, and this King of Cups could be showing you what it really truly means to love someone and have that person love you back. And so this King of Cups could be setting a very positive example of what love should be. And if that's the case, maybe when this King of Wands tries to show up as this Knight of Cups, you may be able to read it in the way of like, comparing it to this new person that's actually healthy. You may be able to see the details, read between the lines, and be like, see, now that's not a stable energy. I don't think that this person is either thinking long term. I don't think this person's taking me seriously. I think that they're probably just saying this in the moment and they'll probably regret saying it later, kind of thing. Because it's almost like, ooh, this King of Wands could maybe even try to pretend that they are like that King of Cups. And that's why they're showing up like this, the Knight of Cups in the reverse, which also shows that they're not even mature enough to embody the King of Cups. But they do a really bad job at it. Or maybe it's just your intuition is that good. They never stood a chance to manipulate you. But it's going to feel like, especially now, especially if you've never had like really good positive relationship experiences and you're starting to finally encounter healthy love, healthy romance, all of that, you're going to have a clear example of like what this King of Wands isn't. All the ways in which they are lacking or missing the point. Because there's so many things in media that tell us what love is, and we tend to miss the mark completely. I think I was starting to say earlier that if somebody truly loves you, They're going to be okay with releasing you, with letting you go, letting you live your life, because love at the end of the day is not selfish. It's not about, I need this person, I demand this person, I crave this person. That's not love. That's passion. That's chemistry, real or imagined, which honestly, I don't know why. This King of Wands is giving me sort of delusional energy. I don't think that they are quite unstable to the point where anybody else will see it, kind of thing. But I feel like, yeah, your intuition is going to pick up on this person real quick, and you're going to be like, there's, like, the dots do not connect. There's something missing here. I'm missing something. Or this person's missing something, which is the more likely, probably. Interesting. But yeah, the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck could be indicating that that's what this King of Wands wants. And what they've always wanted was just to get their rocks off. But again, we did clarify the Ace of Wands earlier as well. And that was giving an energy of like you just showing up as this enthusiastic energy, like a light, and people being attracted to that, especially this King of Wands. Let's see what's underneath this Ace of Wands. Maybe we can get some more context. Nine of Wands. Ugh. So I'm seeing this message in two different ways. First off, you may be this wounded warrior that's been through so much shit when it comes to your romantic life that you just don't fall for it anymore. You've been there, done that so many times that you probably can see the red flags before they even leave that person's lips. You know what I'm saying? Because especially if you go through a lot of those kinds of experiences, you start to recognize a pattern of behavior. And I feel like you're going to clock it. But on the other hand, I keep getting secondhand embarrassment from this King of Wands, bro. Like, I'm cringing. This is so embarrassing for them because the Nine of Wands can also be somebody that just refuses to give up. But notice how it's just the wands, and the wands have been very emphasized in this Knight of Cups in the reverse. The wands can sometimes be just related to spicy things, and that's it. Like, just one note is what it is. It's like, this person's not complex. This person doesn't have complex desires, feelings, thoughts. Like, it just feels so one tone. Maybe this person has a schmeck addiction, but they're not wanting to give up on you. That's the thing. Even if you've refused them or rejected them multiple times already, they're like, well, maybe this time. Like, bro, get out of here. What are you doing, bro? I want to see what's underneath that Nine of Wands. Four of Swords. So, okay, that's actually kind of funny because if it is this person coming back, being like, I'm not giving up, I might keep trying, I think it'll just push you away from them. You may decide to like self-isolate away from this person if this person keeps trying to pressure you, keeps trying to push you, keeps trying to convince you. And again, you've also done so much healing. I don't think that you're going to fall for any sort of games that this person has in mind. And I feel like they don't expect that. They don't expect you to be smart. They don't expect you to be hella intuitive and sniff what they're doing a mile away, But yeah, you've done too much healing. I feel like you're way too tapped into the divine for this person to get very far. Let's just say that. Let's go on to the Page of Swords now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What new things are coming into the collective's life in the spring? In this spring, what new things are happening in this spring in relation to this Page of Swords? This Page of Swords. Yeah. Let's see what came out. Okay. Um, so clarifying the Page of Swords, we have the Two of Wands, Six of Cups in the reverse, Empress in the reverse, Four of Pentacles in the reverse. Bottom of the deck, Four Swords. So somebody is watching you. This could be a hater, I'm not going to lie. It's so weird because if this is a hater, they're acting kind of like a fan, but in a weird way. They could actually look up to you and decide things on their own future and make plans that you could have inspired, but yet they want to paint you in this picture of being a terrible person. Six of Cups in the reverse is, so Six of Cups upright is a nostalgic, loving energy. Thinking back on the past with someone and having happy memories. In the reverse, it feels like somebody that has a lot of bad things to say about the past with you. Could even be something about immaturity there. And the Empress being in the reverse, I think you are the Empress upright. And I think that is the energy that you're going to be giving off this spring. But I feel like this person has been watching you. Do you make content? Or maybe you just have it going on. Anything on your social media, this person could be watching and consuming almost. It feels like they're earnestly consuming your content if you have content out there. Or if this person can watch what you're doing to any extent. It's like they're genuinely watching it. They're genuinely getting something out of it that benefits them in a positive way. And it allows them to think more positively about their future, make more positive plans for their future. But then they're like trying to paint you in this horrible light. And they're trying to say, oh, they're not all that. The collective's not all that. They could even be saying something like, I don't understand what the big hype is around the collective. They're not all that. Even though it's so freaking obvious to anyone with eyes that you're the Empress upright. That's just what I'm feeling intuitively. I think that you're going to be embodying the Empress upright, but somebody's like, no. It almost feels like they're going to try and cover up your narrative with their own narrative, especially if this is a busybody or somebody that loves to gossip. Somebody that likes to gossip. I feel like that could definitely be a Page of Swords in their shadow element, which it feels like they probably are in their shadow element with these reversals. So the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, I almost feel like that could be, it feels like this person's stuck in the past, which would make sense with the Six of Cups in the reverse, because it almost feels like this person's remembering you as somebody that may have not taken chances in the past, maybe self-sabotaged in the past, maybe was too afraid to move out of their own comfort zone. And it feels like they're still trying to spread that narrative about you, that you're just the same person you've always been, even though it's very obvious that you've made great strides and you've probably accomplished a lot. You probably have come a very long way since your past. You're not the same person that you used to be, that's for sure. But this person wants to paint it in a way of like, well, I remember them like this, so that means that's who they truly are. Because they could even be somebody that doesn't believe that people change, which is such a sad thing, because that means that they are going to limit themselves and their own growth and never try to become a better person because they have that belief that they hold to. So this person could even be trying to say like, oh, I don't even know what they're trying to say with this one, because it almost is like the proof is in the pudding with the Empress card. I feel like it's going to be apparent that you've made a lot of advancements. Removed yourself from the comfort zone, but it feels like, oh, it could also be, okay, the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe this is like the Four of Pentacles on steroids to an unhealthy extent. And what I mean by that is this could be somebody that's actually holding on to you, but also hating. It's this person. This is weird because it's like they're watching you. It almost feels like if you do create any sort of content or you have stuff out there, sharing something about your life, sharing something about what you're doing, it's like they earnestly watch that and actually get something from it. But they also want to twist the narrative of like, well, they're not all that, or, they're, the same person they've always been. And maybe they are unhealthily clinging to you, which is like, that kind of makes a hater a friend, or not a friend. It makes a hater a fan, because it's like, why are you clinging so much onto me if I'm a terrible human being that you want nothing to do with? Like, it feels like this person, this feels like a person that definitely projects their own insecurities onto people that they may envy. And it's almost like they could be clinging on to your past version of yourself, and they are just unwilling to accept any newer version that you have transformed into. And the thing is, this could be somebody that you haven't even talked to in years. Because the thing about the Page of Swords, which is what we're clarifying, they are a watcher and not so much a talker. They may have things they'd like to say, but usually they're too chicken to actually come forward and say it. Actually, this is kind of funny with the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck, because why do I feel like this sense of like, this person's just like a simmering teapot in the corner getting angry over everything you do, trying to twist the narrative on its head that, you're a bad person, that you've never changed, you never grow, blah, blah, blah. And they're still trying to cling on to that narrative. And so it's like, all this drama's going on in the background, and you're just chilling. You're so unbothered. I feel like this strong sense of you just not giving a fuck this spring. Like, but that feels like a positive thing. I feel like you could definitely be maybe a former people pleaser, or somebody that was afraid to speak their mind, or afraid of creating waves, And you've just healed so much. You've transformed so much. I feel like these things they're so ego-based that they're not going to affect you like they affect other people, or even your past self, because you're so removed from the ego at this point, and you're hella tapped into spirit. So even if you feel like the vibes are off about someone, because this person may be in your life, it does feel like a person from the past, but maybe you still bump into them from time to time or whatever. You're just completely unbothered. You're not fazed. You probably have had haters since day one, so like, you've grown so used to it at this point, is what I feel. And you're just so much more mature. And I feel like this Page of Swords is just projecting a lot of their own insecurities, their own personality traits even, onto you. But I feel like it's going to be too obvious to other people that this person's just projecting, especially if you are just minding your own business, doing your own thing in your own little world. Other people are going to be like, what did they ever do to you? Like, I like the collective. I think what they're doing is great. Like, what's your problem? So it's like, especially if you have a good reputation, which I feel like you probably do at this point. Because again, if they're trying to show up and say, oh, they're not all that, that means you are all that. You know what I mean? Because who's going to put in that much effort? Who's going to want to twist the narrative that much if you're not anyone? Nobody would take the time out to do that if you weren't anyone or you weren't important. You must mean a great deal to this person in order for them to be like, I don't know. It's almost like I'm getting a vision in my mind of a dog with its jaw clamped onto a person's leg and just they refuse to give up. That's what it feels like. This could even have been an ex-friend of yours. That's what the scary part I'm getting. And this could have just been somebody that was always hiding their resentment and contempt towards you. They could have just hid it when they were your friend. And now that you are no longer on speaking terms, perhaps, you've moved on with your life, you've moved on from this person, and now the ugliness, the envy, those toxicities are just raised to the surface. I want to say don't doubt yourself because of this person, because I feel like whatever you're doing, you're actually doing a really good job. Because the Two of Wands, like that is very specific energy. I think that whatever you're doing, this person is actually inspired by. But because their ego gets involved, they're like, no, I have to change the narrative. This person's unhealed. This person's never changed. This person's, not that, all that. They're ugly. They're toxic. They're blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, whatever, man. I'm over here chilling. You could care less. I love that. I actually love that Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Because you're zen. You're chill. And then these people are like having a freaking heart attack in the background and a conniption or a freaking mental breakdown over you. And you're just chilling, minding your own business, doing what you're doing a good job. And people are like crying, throwing up, sliding down the wall over you. People. Let's see what's underneath that Four of Swords. Ace of Wands. So that gives me the energy of like maybe you're even self-isolating because you're working on a project or you're trying to create something here. Maybe this creation that you've been working on in private potentially, that could be what this person's inspired by. Or at least that's what this person may be attracted to you by. Something like that. Oh, also, Two of Wands is sort of like a plan making sort of energy. And I think that this person, especially because they're showing up as the Page of Swords, I think that this is a person that plans but never acts on those plans. And I think that's why they have such beef with you, because you do act on those plans. If you have a good idea, you explore it. You're not afraid to try. You're not afraid to put yourself out there. This person is. That's why they're freaking Page of Swords. They're lingering in the background, not saying anything, but silently simmering and, oh, I hate this person. And you're just doing your own thing, being really good at it. Let's meet that Ace of Wands. Nine of Wands. We saw that earlier. So this is interesting. I'm getting a different energy now. It almost feels like you're not giving up on this project that you have in mind, even if it is hard, even if you feel like at times you doubt it or you doubt its success or its ability to become successful. I'm curious what's underneath that Nine of Wands. Queen of Wands. So this would make sense that you are the Empress, because we've already seen the Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords, and now the Queen of Wands. So I think that this King of Wands may actually see how the two of you could be compatible if they weren't in their shadow element. But unfortunately, they are in their shadow element. So I don't think you're going to be interested in that person. But you may have similarities with that person, and maybe that's why you kind of fell for their charm in the beginning. But the Queen of Wands is a very independent energy, not afraid to go after her own goals, ambitions, very driven, confident. Like, you are such a badass. I just want to say, like, I think you're a badass, and this person's just hating from a distance because they're unfulfilled in their own life and they want to take it out on you. I'm curious what's underneath that Queen of Wands. Seven of Cups. Okay, so it's like telling me if you don't give up on this creative project that you've been working on, maybe in private, and you keep going, even if it looks bleak, you're going to end up on top and you're going to have a million opportunities as a result of you not giving up on this project. So I definitely want to encourage you, especially if you're in that Queen of Wands energy. Queen of Wands is ambitious, determined, creative as hell. So you got it going on. And I think that if something right now isn't looking too good, I think in the springtime you may start to see some progress in something. And you're noticing, okay, I am on the right track. I am headed towards my manifestations, my desires, my goals. And those are actually within reach now. Interesting. So yeah, as long as you just mind your own business, stay in your zone, which I feel like you're absolutely gonna do anyways. You're not gonna be really affected by this person. Yeah. They're just gonna be hating in the corner and you're gonna just be like, oh, sorry, you said something? Maybe not even that. Six of Swords at the bottom of this deck, that is a beautiful thing because you're headed towards calmer waters. Your past probably was chaotic, maybe painful, but your future's looking very bright here. And it feels like maybe this is something very obvious to those around you. And that leads to why these people, some of them, want to become a hater because it's like, oh, too many people are speaking good about the collective, you know? I gotta bring them down somehow. Gotta knock them down a peg. Anyways, I feel like your future's looking really bright. Let's see what's underneath that Six of Swords. Page of Wands. I feel like this is really just saying lean into your creativity. Let your creativity inspire you and motivate you. Because it feels like, especially with that project, the more you focus on it, the more you give to it, the more you feed into it, build it up, it's going to become very successful and it's going to lead to a lot of opportunities for you. And it feels like it's also going to help you embody this powerful energy even more. Yeah. So lean into this youthful optimism when it comes to your creative projects. It almost feels like if you're starting to doubt yourself, do your best to counteract that doubt with some hope. Yeah. Let's see what's underneath that Page of Wands. Nine of Swords. So it feels like if you have been struggling with your mental health or doubting this project and its capability to go anywhere, I feel like that fear is going to melt away. I feel like there's a message here about getting out of your own mind. So if you've been self-isolating a lot and that self-isolation has led you to overthink things, start to become anxious about things, and you're kind of ruminating in that, I feel like going outside, interacting with people outside of yourself, especially friends, family, those that love and support you, it feels like that's going to free you from that anxiety. I want to see what's underneath that Nine of Swords. Six of Wands. So yes, this is literally saying exactly what I was saying. So Six of Wands, that's a card of success, baby. Success. And it can be success with public recognition. And so if you are in the public eye at all and doing something really cool that people like this Page of Swords is inspired by, it feels like you are on the track to your own success. And not everybody's going to be a fan of that, but it's almost like they can't even deny that whatever it is that you do is actually really good. It's almost like they have to admit to themselves, like, damn, I actually do like their content. Shit. It's kind of like that. So they may even be, see, this is what I mean. Like, these haters always turn into your biggest fans because what do you mean you are constantly watching my videos? This could be somebody that literally follows you, follows your content, follows even your milestones or whatever they can see and find about you. And it just feels like envy. And the thing that's sad about that is when we feel envy, we can let that inspire us to do what we want to do with our lives, because if somebody else can do it, maybe we can too. Not to mention exploring the possibilities of what could become your passion and your purpose. That always leads you to like new interests, new hobbies. And so it's like you can become inspired by envy or you can let it destroy you. And unfortunately, not everybody sees that. Anywho, let's break out the oracle and see if it has anything to add to this reading. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else that you would like to share with the collective when it comes to this reading, or just in general, any advice, whatever you want to tell the collective, please and thank you, Spirit. Let's see, what do you have for the collective? Additional oracle messages, please and thank you, Spirit. Are there any additional messages that you'd like to share with the collective? Please and thank you. Oops. Okay. All right, so we have two cards that popped out. We have Autumn. This represents bounty and balance. Interesting, bounty. That feels like success, abundance, balance. I feel like with that Queen of Swords energy, I feel like you strive for balance. You strive for things to be, yeah, like balanced. How do I word that? Just like things being in order, things making sense. Yeah, and maybe things start to make more sense as you move into the spring, as the spring approaches. And then the other card that came out is Seeds. This represents new ideas, hope, and open-mindedness. So, new ideas. What have I been saying about those wands energies when it comes to you? Explore those new ideas, because maybe you have something here that is going to make you incredibly successful. The second part of this card is, it says hope. And I feel like I said at one point that if your mind is starting to convince you that things are going badly, try to counteract those thoughts with thoughts of hope, like how things can turn out right, rather than all the ways they can go wrong. What are all the ways that they can turn out right, or good, positive? And then the last part of this Seeds card, it says open-mindedness. And I feel like that's part of why you are such a success in the eyes of others, and why people genuinely like to be around you. You're very open-minded. You try your best not to be judgmental of people. I feel like because you understand a lot of different experiences. So you're like, I'm no one to judge kind of thing. Well, unless they're directly coming towards you for judgment, then it's like, okay, well, I can judge you then, but you're not going to go out of your way to judge people. Like, you just have bigger things to do, more important things to do with your life. But yeah, so keeping that open mind, that is definitely going to serve you, and maybe it will even help you to grow these seeds, and that can become a harvest. Okay, and the bottom of the deck, it says cup of tea. This represents patience and reassessment. I feel like this is definitely an important reminder to take care of you, especially if you're experiencing any stress or doubt during this time. Take some time out for self-care and reminding yourself that you are worthy regardless of the outcome of anything, that you're here with a purpose, that you're serving that purpose, that Spirit is guiding you in the right direction. And even if you can't see how things are going to work out, they will. And they will work out in your favor for the highest good. But yeah, patience. You may just have to be a little bit more patient with the process. And that's probably a good thing, because the best things or rather, the things that last the longest in our lives are the things that we build slowly. Um, it's kind of like, um, if we rush the process, it just causes more complications than positives. And as fast as you gain something, you can just as quickly um, lose that thing, especially if you didn't take time to properly grow it, build upon it, invest into it. So I feel like you're doing everything right. And I feel like Spirit's just trying to give you these words of reassurance here. Um, and then there's that reassessment part. And maybe that could be where your creative new ideas come in. If you're already working on a project and you're like, I don't know, there's something stagnant, there's something not really moving here. With the reassessment, maybe you reassess and you are like, oh, I have this new idea. Maybe I should try and explore that. And maybe you do. Maybe that becomes the thing that really gets you in the algorithm or really gets you on the right track, or, and it could be even the slightest tweak, of whatever you're doing. So definitely do not be afraid to explore those new ideas that you're having, those creative ideas, because it feels like that could even help you go even farther, gain even more success on your path, on your journey here. Honestly, it feels like a really good energy. I don't know why, but I feel like I should tell somebody out there to have a cup of tea. And I know that that's what the card says, but I just feel like there's somebody out there that may be like myself who loves tea, but just doesn't take the time out to just have a tea, you know? Like, that's me personally, is like, I always think of like, oh, I should make a nice tea at night, like chamomile or like a rose tea, something like that, that's not, caffeinated. But I always like forget, or, it just, and then I'm always like, damn, I wish I had a cup of tea right now. So I wonder if somebody out there would really like to have a cup of tea, but they keep forgetting, or I don't know why. That could be relevant for someone out there. Maybe you need to have a cup of tea, especially if you're hella stressed. Maybe some chamomile tea might actually be really good for you. Um, but yeah, definitely do not feel afraid, and don't feel like it's frivolous to have a cup of tea too. Because sometimes we can get into these patterns or mindsets where we're thinking, oh, it's too selfish of me, or, I don't deserve it, or, we come up with a million excuses as to not do something. And I feel like taking care of you is probably one of the best things you can prioritize at this time. And it's going to lead you to your success, because if anything starts to pick up the pace and you've taken really good care of yourself, you're going to be ready for that change of pace, which, I feel like the springtime is truly all about that change of pace. So I feel like things are actually working out really well for you, and they're going to be quite successful. Just do not give up on them. Have patience. Keep believing. Keep trusting. And I feel like you're going to be pleasantly surprised with the results. So thank you so much for watching this. That is the reading. I really hope that it resonated. So that's the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it resonated. If it did resonate at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I'm truly grateful, and I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.